As part of our Be Seen, Be Heard series, we're looking into the results from an annual survey of hundreds of Tri-County residents on the quality of life in Portland.
Fox 12's Julia Lopez is taking a closer look at the numbers.
Those polled are ever so slightly more optimistic about the direction that downtown Portland is going, though there are still those in the suburbs who say they're not going out of their way to come downtown, and that is for a host of reasons. Doing better, but not great. That's the overall attitude at home described by 700 Tri-County voters polled by DHM Research in December. For the first time since 2022, fewer people are reporting a worsening quality of life. Out of 300 Portlanders and 400 from its suburbs, 59% say it's getting worse, down from 78% the past 2 years and 80% in 2021.
For a while, it's been really crappy, and I feel like they've turned things around and it's making it a lot better.
That's echoed by those we spoke with today in Clackamas and Washington counties who say they'll venture downtown for events but cite homelessness, drug use, and cleanliness as the issues keeping them away.
One of the last times that I was down in Portland was in October for a concert, and I literally double questioned whether or not I was wearing open-toed shoes and stepping over excrement and not knowing if it was animal or human.
35% of those polled by DHM say homelessness is their top issue in the metro, followed by 18% concerned about affordable housing and 12% who say their biggest worry is a lack of police presence.
One, probably the lack of police.
So do you feel safe going downtown?
I always feel safe because I've got a 6'4" husband.
Would you feel safe without a 6'4"?
Absolutely not.
Only 29% of those polled said downtown is improving, with 33% saying it's getting worse.
There's just a bunch of burglaries and all these fun things going on that's not great down there.
I think that a lot of people like to paint sort of like downtown and parts of Portland as this scary, unsafe area. But I think that what needs to be happening is more people need to come to those areas.
Sasha Pohl lives downtown and loves it, but says things won't improve without more business from Portland's suburban neighbors.
I think that hurts downtown. I think that downtown is a great area, but I think what makes downtown great is when people are here and they're engaging in local businesses and standing proud in downtown.
There's also a partisan divide. 67% of Republicans polled said they feel unsafe coming downtown compared to 22% of Democrats. And that is alongside 34% of white voters, 27% of Hispanic voters, and 46% of non-Hispanic people of color who reported feeling unsafe downtown. Still, researchers say these are the most optimistic results they've gotten in years. Reporting from downtown Portland, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.